Are you thinking about getting sister locks? Wondering how much will it cost? What is the process like? How do I prepare for install day? Well, this is the video for you. I am going to be sharing my personal experience on my sister lock journey, why I decided to get sister locks, and how much it cost me. So let's get right into it. Hello, beautiful people from across the lands. It is your girl, Tashana Nicole. Join me on my journey to financial independence by eliminating debt, creating multiple streams of income, and inspiring others to dream again. Hello, if you are new here, welcome back to my hopeful peeps for returning. This video is not so financy, but it does involve finances, as you all can see by the thumbnail and this title. Your girl spent a pretty penny to get these sister locks. So I'm going to be breaking down my sister lock experience in regards to the beginning of my journey. I think I'm in like month 3 or 4. I can't really think off the top of my head right now, but I'm very, very early into my journey. But I still wanted to share my experience and how and why it costs so much to get sister locks. Before we do that, I need to give y'all a full 360 of my sister locks so y'all can, see the investment. I got some color there. I'm gonna turn around so y'all can see the back. It's like a half up, half down do. See the color popping? I cannot wait for it to like grow out. That was one of the things that was a shock for me, which I shouldn't have been too shocked because natural hair shrinks, but the shrinkage from where I started to where it is now, it was like kind of caught me off guard. But that's a look so far of where I am right now on my sister lock journey. So let's get into how much I paid. Oh yes, by the title of this video and my thumbnail, I paid $1,600 for my sister locks. Inflation is everywhere. I remember in the very beginning stages of my journey, I was watching a lot of videos, sister lock videos of different people's journeys and the prices, how much they paid, and a lot of them were like 4 or 5 years old. And so yeah, the prices are a little bit different now. So which rightfully so, because this is a very particular style and it takes a particular skill, and the locticians have to go through a very rigorous process to actually become certified to even install these in your hair. So if you're looking to get this style, you need to be willing to pay the investment. Now, this may vary depending on your loctician, the level of expertise that they have in regards to their certification, if they're a trainee, if they're in trainee status, or if they are, an actual certified loctician, the price will vary. But for me, I found a certified sister lock loctician in my area. And I went in for my consultation, which was $50. And during this consultation, basically, she takes a look at my hair. We measure it. We talk about, how big or how small I will want my sister locks. And we put in a couple of tester locks, which if you follow me on Instagram, I showed a little clip of my tester locks that we got put in. And so that was back in September of 2022. So I already knew before my consultations that I was already sold, but you still have to go through that process of with the consultation, which for me was $50 to, do all the things that I just said we did to my hair. So after the consultation, if you decide, yes, I want to get sister locks, you do have to put down a deposit. My deposit was $100. Now this money in regards to the consultation fee and the deposit fee all kind of goes in together to the overall fee. Now with my loctician, the base pay for the installation was $800 for the first 6 inches of hair. Any inch after that, I believe it was $100 for any additional inch. And I was coming in with about 12 to 14 inches of hair. So I believe that put me at an additional 8 inches of hair. So that gave me an additional $800 for this installation. And I particularly did not want to start off with very, very short hair because I've already gone through that phase in my natural hair journey, starting off with the TWA, and I was just not interested in doing that again. And plus I have glued my hair the longest I've ever grown it. It was pretty much shoulder length and a little bit down my back. And and from watching the videos, I knew the shrinkage was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be this much shrinkage. But so I did not want to cut my hair. So I bit the bullet and I pay that amount. Now, part of my sister lock package is that my first retie, which is basically the refreshening or the retightening of my sister locks, they kind of like loop them in to give you that fresh, crisp look as your hair grows out, was free and was kind of included into my package. And so when I went and got my first retie, I didn't have to pay during that time because it was already included in my installation package when I first got started. So that's the breakdown of how much I paid for my sister locks and how we got to that total amount. So if you are thinking about getting sister locks, I'm going to share a couple of tips on how I prepared and what I did prior to my installation. One of the big things that I did that I talk about on this channel is I budgeted. Once I began to do my research and I saw what it was going to take on average for me to get the sister locks, I began to put money aside. And I knew from the day of my consultation to the day of my installation, it actually was about a 2 to 3 month gap before I actually got it installed. And even prior to that, I want to say back in like early June, July-ish, I was thinking about getting my hair locked. And so once I decided to do sister locks, particularly in regards to locking my hair, I knew there was a financial investment. So you want to make sure to budget it, look at your numbers to see, how you can begin to allocate a portion of that at a time, so you don't have such a shock value to your income during that time when you have to pay. Now, with the amount of how much hair that I had, I did make the decision, although it wasn't an emergency, I did tap into my emergency savings, taking about like $400 out of that, something I was willing to do that I knew I can eventually replenish back within the following month of taking that money out. So I wasn't too hurt to take out that $400 to kind of help offset the overall balance. So that was a decision that I made in regards to preparing for my installation. Also, other ways to prepare once you have your finances in order, getting prepared for your installation, is actually preparing your hair. So one of the things that you have to do is to make sure that, the night before your installation, is to wash your hair with a clarifying shampoo. During that time, I also blew my hair out and I clipped my ends. I actually should have did this like before my consultation because I do think I took off like a nice amount of hair during clipping it. But one of the things that I suggest is that you clip your ends. Make sure that you have very clean ends because they start from the bottom up when they are kind of intertwining this lock, and so you don't want to have breakage or very frail ends. So my rule of thumb is if you can see through your hair, you need to just cut it off. And so that was kind of how I gauged it around my afro at the time. If I can kind of see through it, I kind of clipped it off. And luckily, I have been natural for so long that I've not, clipped my hair on a regular. I feel comfortable cutting my hair, and so I didn't have too much see-through hair, and so it was just a very clean, crisp cut to kind of help prepare for that. Another thing, if you are thinking about color, you should do it before your install, because once you have sister locks, you cannot color your hair the first year you are locked because they have to mature, and there's just, I don't know, it's just a rule. You're not allowed to get your hair dyed until after your hair has been at least 1 year with the locks, because as you know, with hair dye, it does break down the protein of your hair, and so the locks can become very fragile and sensitive and may break off. So I had my consultation in September, and I want to say August was around the first time I had got my hair colored, because I knew I wanted to eventually get sister locks. So from August to November, from when my hair was actually installed with the sister locks, I had time to do protein treatments in my hair when I got my hair dyed. So it wasn't immediately after I got my hair colored that I went and got the locks installed. And so if you do plan on getting sister locks and you want color in your hair, try to do it at least a month or two in advance before your installation. So why did I decide to get sister locks? I have been natural for over a decade. I believe I started my natural hair journey back in like August 2008, 2009. And I started off transitioning, allowing my permed hair to grow out, and then I started over again by cutting all of my hair off and doing the TWA. And I always knew when I went natural, eventually later on down the line, that I would lock my hair someday. I just didn't know how soon. But when I got to the point when I was ready to lock my hair, I wanted my time back. For those of us who are natural, particularly, with Afro texture hair, there's a lot of maintenance and a lot of time that goes into it, whether you're blowing it out, a twist out, even if you're getting braids or any type of install. It's just a lot of work that goes into it. And where I am now in my life in regards to, taking on big things in regards to wanting to pay off my debt, wanting to establish my business. There's just a lot of time that I need back, and dealing with my hair is not where I want to spend my time. And I also have a daughter, and she has a head full of hair that's a lot longer than mine. So it's like triple that, doing my hair and her hair. And I've always done my hair once I became natural. Like, I was like my main, hairstylist. And that was another thing I didn't like. Like, I wanted to just sit in someone's chair and be pampered to, and just did not want anything to do with my hair. And so when I decided I was ready to lock my hair, I started to look into the different variations of locks, and sister locks to me was just a little bit more fitting for my personality and my lifestyle. One of the things about sister locks that was really attractive to me was the uniqueness of it and the structure. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there is a process that the locticians have to go through in order to be certified to install these in your hair. This is actually a trademark hairstyle, and so there's a particular pattern, a particular grid in regards to the parting that they have to follow as they're installing this trademark style called sister locks. And for me, that was really refreshing to kind of have something of that structure and very systematic and match my personality. I'm a very system oriented type of person, and so I love that idea about that, where there was just a very laid out thing that they had to follow in order to properly install this into my hair. I also love that it kind of mimics my natural hair that I did not want. With traditional locks, they are so beautiful, but one of the things I did not want with my locks, I did not want bulky locks. I did not want super heavy locks over time that sometimes can cause like traction alopecia along the hairline. And I know there's different mediums even with traditional locks that you can get where they're not like the super bulky ones, but I still wanted to hold on to my loose hair, and this kind of gave me the best of both worlds. I'm able to lock my hair, but I still have the loose type of flow of my loose natural hair. And so that to me was very, very appealing, to be able to have that as an option and to still be able to be connected to my natural hair. But I definitely want to get into some first impressions after my hair was installed, because it was a little bit different than what I thought it would be. So after getting my sister locks installed, my first reaction was I did love the structure and the flow of it. Looked very beautiful, but the shrinkage like just choked me up in like the fullness of my hair at the time. And it's starting to get a little bit full, but my locks still have some ways to go to kind of mature. But for someone who has been natural, I love a good blowout. I love a good twist out, like that fullness of my girl. It took a minute for me to, not a minute, but it took me some time to kind of accept that my hair is just going to kind of be full in different ways, and it's going to move and mature in different ways. So although I didn't have that feeling that I found in a lot of videos that they say like, oh, I wish I would have did it sooner. I did not necessarily have that feeling, although I do not regret making this decision to lock my hair, but it wasn't just like, oh my gosh, I should have done this a whole lot sooner, because I really loved and appreciated my natural hair and my afro. Like, I actually got emotional the night before my install day, because it was like I was saying goodbye to a good loving friend. Like, I went through a whole lot of just inward transition with myself, of just accepting myself, my inward beauty, and just who I was when I decided to go natural. It was so much more than just my, growing out my natural hair, but it helped me to embrace who I was. And it was like I was saying goodbye to her. And so it was quite an emotional experience. But what I will say on my sister lock journey, that I am in a place where I'm just going to trust the process, because even in the beginning stages of my natural journey, I was not fully feeling my hair. It took me some time to kind of get into it and love it. And so I'm just allowing myself that same grace and space to just, you know, fall in love with my hair in its different capacity and just allow it to kind of grow and flourish over time. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are interested in seeing more sister lock videos, like I shared, this channel is going to be a little bit more diverse, and I want to dip and dab into different topics that I'm interested to, and natural hair is actually a very big one that I'm into. So there's so much more that I have learned about sister locks and that I am continuing to learn along my journey, that I have the information if you guys want it. So if you want another video, if you're thinking about sister locks, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions in regards to, you know, sister locks and my process and all of that, feel free to ask below. And yeah, just be sure to, you know, show your girl some love. Hit that like button and subscribe and join the hopeful peeps, because we keep it positive over here and we keep dreaming, believing, and achieving. Okay, so until next time, please remember to dream